Hey there, happy Friday. I am Daniel Norton. Welcome to my studio in New York City. Clearly I'm a photographer because I'm holding a camera. Okay guys, in this video I want to talk about the zoom lens. I get a lot of questions about why I use a zoom lens for a lot of things. And I think where this comes from, and this is interesting, right? We have so much knowledge being put out there in the world, right? So many people talking, so many things going on, but still kind of old, and I believe, in my opinion, outdated information is shared quite regularly. And one of those things is that zoom lenses are inferior to primes. I think that's what we call a hot take when I say that they're not. Now, I'm not going to say that if you were to look at charts for sharpness and do all these other things, that you would not find that prime lenses are typically sharper, which is probably something people say all the time. They're typically faster, with the f2s and 1.2s and all that stuff, and even lighter to some extent when compared to the equivalent, right, of a zoom. So if I take this is a 24-70, if I set it at 50 millimeters, this is a 50 millimeter f4 lens. If I look at this is probably 2 inches longer, about double the weight of my 50 millimeter 1.8. So, and maybe it's not as sharp. So why the heck would anybody use a zoom lens? Well, number one, when I talk about outdated information, there was a time when zoom lenses were very clearly inferior. They were generally made as compromise lenses. A lot of them were not fixed apertures, and the ones that were very expensive. So you were buying something like a 3.5 to 5.6 lens, and typically they just weren't nearly the quality of even the cheapest primes. But that's what we're talking about 1970s, 1980s. We're talking about a long time ago. I mean, the information was almost outdated when I was young, that was the case. I had beautiful zoom lenses when I first started my career in my 20s, and I use zoom lenses now for the main reason of convenience. Here's the thing. I'm not shooting sharpness targets on the wall, right? I'm not shooting in some fixed condition. I'm not weighing all my camera equipment before I walk outside or hold it in my hand. I'm not shooting for 20 hours holding the camera up like this, right? So some of the things like the weight, the sharpness, that kind of stuff means nothing to me. And actually, if I took a 24, a 35, a 50, and we'll say an 85, because that would be the closest we can get here. I guess some lenses companies have 75s, and put them all in a case, it'd be way bigger and heavier than this. Would they be faster? Yes, but what kind of work do I do is what I start to think about, right? I am shooting studio photography primarily in portraits. I rarely, even when I have a fast lens, shoot faster than f4. The only reason why I would do that is if I really needed to isolate somebody, or if it was really, really low light, for some kind of special effect. I get that when you buy these expensive lenses, you want to shoot wide open all the time, but the reality is that in most commercial type work, you're not going to need to be shooting that wide open. I shoot at 5.6 probably 80% of the time, sometimes even more closed down. So the fact that my lens is only an f4 lens doesn't really hinder me. On top of that, the fact that cameras are so good now at higher ISOs, it's not like when we were shooting film, and like if you had to shoot 400 speed film, you were like already pushing it, so you wanted that 2.8 so you could squeeze it out. I could shoot 800, it looked better than the old 400, and I'm at f4, I've got more depth of field and I'm exactly the same exposure. So the fact that the lens is not super fast, again, isn't a huge deal for me. The idea that I can take this is like what I do 80 or more % of my work with. One small camera body, I have a backup obviously, with this lens on it, this 24-70. This makes my life super convenient. Now me personally, I tend to shoot my portraits on the wider side, meaning 50, sometimes I stretch this out to 70, but sometimes I even go as wide as 35. If you are the person that shoots with longer lenses, you could get a 70 to 200 or something like that, right? So it's not like you couldn't do that. To me, that starts getting a little bit longer and larger than I like. So again, I'm talking about myself. I might opt then to carry an 85 and I don't know what else I got, a 150, I guess, if I was going to do that versus a 70 to 200 personally. But again, that comes down to your style and what you carry. I'm curious how many of you use zoom lenses? Use zoom lenses, let's see if I can talk today. And why? It's what came with your camera? You like the convenience? Do you find them less sharp? Is there a reason why that you use a zoom? I would say for me, the main reason is convenience. the fact that I can come and do a photo shoot, because remember, I do a lot of teaching, clearly, and I'll start this thing. I do a lot of teaching, and I'm going to be switching it up constantly when I'm on camera. I don't want to have to keep switching lenses. There's possibilities of getting dust on the sensor. It slows things down. So having a zoom lens allows me to work fast and do a lot of different things. If I'm doing a day of headshots, I will throw my 85 on there because I know I'm not changing it, especially if I'm locked down on a tripod. But for 99% of the stuff I do, this is what I carry in my bag. I don't carry any other lenses, and it works for me. So let me know what you guys think below. I'm sure you will, especially if you don't like zoom lenses, and you're going to send me, don't send me lens charts, please. I don't want to see lens charts. Go ahead, subscribe, ring the bell, and I'll see you next time.